Welcome. I'm Joanne Kroll. I am the Sensible Organizer, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about photos. I've been getting a lot of questions about photo organization, of which I do have a course. I've slashed the price, and I'll be posting the link in here as soon as I'm done. I'm going to keep this one pretty brief, but one of the biggest things is the first step, well, the second step, because you really need to gather all your photos and take an inventory if they're digital, because you can't physically gather those. But really the first step is that. But the second step is to start purging them. Everybody wants to start with the systems first, and they want to take everything they have and organize it into a system, which in the end can be very tedious. And if you have so many photos to do, it can take you forever. And a lot of times we're organizing photos that we don't need. So today I'm going to talk about I'm going to put the little thing up. I always forget that. How do you decide what photos to let go of? So let's talk, I'm going to talk about two separate pieces, personal photos, and for those of us that do digital marketing for our businesses, I'm going to talk about digital photos, but also digital for personal. So we're going to talk business, personal, physical, digital. The principles apply to both as far as personal photos. I'm giving you permission to let go of any photos that aren't great. Back years ago, when we printed photos, we just kept them all. You know, they would print a roll of film and they wouldn't say, well, these ones were crappy. They gave you everything that came off of that film. And a lot of times we kept them all. So get rid of any blurry photos, any photos with heads cut off, anything that just doesn't look good. Landscape photos from trips that you've taken that looked beautiful at one point, but there's nobody in them and they make no sense unless they bring you joy, spark joy, or they bring back a really good memory. Now, I always say this, and I use this as an example. If you have like a grandparent in one of those photos that's blurry, and that's really the only photo you have of that person, which is highly unlikely, but you never know. It could be a great grandparent or, down the line, then by all means, keep the blurry photo because you want to keep a record. I'm going to go into the comments because I see that there's some people here. So say hello if you're here, and feel free to ask questions. If you're watching in the replay, again, feel free to ask questions because I will come back and answer them. So that's where you can start. Start with all of those photos. Then we have all of the duplicate photos. I think a lot of us, would print two copies because we may want to do something with one copy and something with another. But, when you have duplicates of a roll of film, you've got so many photos. We already take a million photos of the same. So we're at a birthday party and we take, 50 photos at that birthday party. That might be aggressive, and they're almost like the same photo of everything. So go through those occasions and think to yourself, if you have 50 photos from a birthday, take out the ones that really capture the whole day and make sure that you have at least every person captured. Get rid of a photo that has one person that isn't in the rest of them. And this is really important for photos that we're going to pass down. Inheriting a lot of photos is something that many of my clients struggle with. I personally, when I lost my parents, they didn't give me thousands of photos. They gave me a really good sampling of their lives. But that said, those photos weren't labeled. So a lot of those photos are not meaningful to me, which I'm not even going to talk about the documentation today. I'm really talking about what you can let go of. So anything that's blurry, heads cut off, not great photos, duplicate photos that are no longer serving you. There are ways to use those. But if you're not going to, then, feel free to get rid of those. One thing I will say is very interesting. I had a client once who was terrified to throw away pictures of her children because she thought something was going to happen to her children. And I had never heard of this before. And it could be a cultural thing. It could be something, a superstition, but I'll tell you that nothing is going to happen to your children if you throw away recycle photos of your children or your family members. I can tell you I've done that and everybody is alive and well. So those, for personal photos, that's, really like the overall basis. purge as many as you possibly can before you even think of doing any kind of system with them. Now, for digital photos, this can be a little bit more tedious because you're not holding them physically in your hand, and you're not knowing, if you're like me and you've had a computer crash, or you had a former system of photos, like a software, and then that went away and now all the photos are just jumbled up, it can be overwhelming. So again, just apply those same principles of, this photo's not great. It doesn't matter if I have it somewhere else. I'm just going to get rid of this particular file. And when you're doing this purge for digital photos, it's important to know where they all are. If you have a backup on the cloud, and you have a backup on a hard drive, and you have stuff on your computer, you don't have to worry about if there's duplicates here, there, and everywhere. It's all about reducing where you are in the moment. And I apply these principles to paper as well. So I think if you've heard me talk about that, it's very similar concept. So now for businesses, if you're famous for me, if you're downloading a lot of stock photos that you're using for digital marketing, and you're creating things in Canva, and you're creating different versions and you're downloading, it's okay to let go of those if you've used them and you may not use them again. So I'll use an example of, like, when I do these lives, I create a graphic in Canva with the title of the page. Now, these are very simple. I don't do anything elaborate, but I get rid of them right away because I'm not going to need that actual graphic again. So if it's not a graphic that you're going to need again to use, then get rid of it right away once you've used it and used it in, say, an ad or marketing. And then other ones that you can let go of would be, anything that you've used for your website and you're no longer using. So really, like, I guess just go through any photos that you have for your business. And if you have, say you downloaded a photo and you made graphics out of it, and then you made all these different sizes for all of your social medias, but you want to keep one record, keep one of those and get rid of the rest. If you think you're not going to use them again, just get rid of them, because that really can clutter up. It can get crazy over time, especially people that do a lot of visual work. A lot of people will tell me that they keep, they create these Instagram posts and then they still keep the pictures on their computer or their phone. And I'm like, but they're on Instagram. So you really have to ask yourself, if Instagram went away, would I be really upset that I didn't have this photo anymore? So that's one tip I can apply. So it's about just not, I guess a lot of people have fear that they're going to need it again. But really, when you think about it, you may not reuse those photos. You want to create something new. So you have to just think about it. If it's an amazing graphic that you're going to use over and over again, by all means, keep it. And also, make sure that you label your files really well, and that gets into a whole nother level, because I'm really just talking about purging. But sometimes it helps when you're purging digital files. If you come across one that that you're going to want to keep forever and fine, you might want to label that one right away. So that's really just a quick overview of things that you can let go of. I have an actual photo course that I'm slashing the price on it for now, because a lot of people are looking to get their photos organized right now, because all the families around. It's actually can be a fun project. A lot of people dread photo organization, but I don't think you have to. So my program actually is step-by-step. It goes from the collect to the purge to the sort, and then I always say, and I actually was watching it today and it said the final purge, and all I could think of was the movie. So I'm going to put the link to that. Actually, I'm going to chat it right now. I'm going to click chat. There is the link to that program if you're interested. The way that program is set up, it's video. It's video instruction, but there's also a place to comment, so you can ask me questions on that as you go along. Any questions that you have. And I hope you all have an awesome day, and I hope you're all well and healthy. And I wish you much productivity, peace, and prosperity. Bye.